Hugh inside the Beltway. Someday Democrats are going to learn. You can't beat Ted Cruz in Texas, and you cannot beat Rick Scott in Florida. He joins me now. Rick Scott, congratulations on your reelection and handy reelection. They poured a lot of money into trying to beat you. What was the final margin, Senator?
1.4 million votes. We won Miami-Dade by 10 points. We won Osceola, which is the Puerto Rican majority county. We won the county that Tampa's in. We won the county that St. Pete's in. We won the county that Jacksonville's in. Of course, we won Miami big. So 5.9 million votes. Florida is the center of the Republican Party of America. And look, everybody from Florida is getting appointed.
Senator, I want to point out that you ran for governor twice. They tried to knock you out. This is your second run for senator. I don't know how much money's been spent against you, but do you think they'll give up now?
I think they should give up on Florida. I bet they've spent $300 million against me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like you and Cruz. You bankrupted the Democratic Party. So, Senator, let's talk about tomorrow. I've had John Thune on. If John Cornyn called, all three of you guys are great friends of mine and of the program. Why are you running for leader?
Well, I'm running because I think we have to have dramatic change. We've got to get the Trump agenda accomplished. I'm a business guy. I know how to get things done. I've talked to my colleagues. They know we have to have big change. They want to get treated as equals. They want us to have an agenda. They want to be part of a team. They know I've got a great working relationship with Donald Trump and with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And I'm a business guy. Business guy, what do? You have a purpose. You build a team. You write a plan. You measure living daylights out of things, and guess what? You have success. So I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to have success. We've got to get this stuff done.
The business plan thing. Can I pause on that? Because I've been trying to explain the budget and reconciliation process to people. Would you explain it to them? We get 100 days, and we get one budget reconciliation this year, and it's got to be big. What would you imagine for it?
Well, first off, you've got to revamp it. You've got to get reduce taxes. I mean, our taxes are too big, and you've got to change the size of government. We're spending 40% more than we take in. Our taxes are too high. I cut taxes, by the way, every year as governor. I cut taxes and fees 100 times. Guess what? My revenues went up. The economy got better. So what we've got to think about is how do we get people back to work? How do we reduce the cost of living for people? I mean, I can just tell you, people are struggling. I mean, I stopped at a restaurant the other day to grab a sandwich, and a young lady says, "Look, Governor, I moved." She says, I moved when you were governor, and I could afford it. She says, I can't afford to live here anymore. Everything's gotten too expensive. You've got to fix this. That's going to take dramatic change. And so what we've got to do is we've got to pass a budget, and we have to stop and say to ourselves, why do we have the Department of Education? Why is the federal government involved in so many agencies, so many things? Why do we, if they want to run everything, why do we have our state? I believe in states' rights. I believe our governors and their legislatures ought to be responsible for education and so many things that the federal government has gotten involved in. And what they've done is all they do is bog everything down. You can't get a permit. They're telling you how to run your life. This is easy. That's why we have our state. That's how this was set up. So it's a United States of America. It's not the federal government of America.
Senator, I believe that the spending clause would support conditioning federal education dollars on every state that receives them, that wants them, implementing a school choice program at least as robust as Florida and Arizona's and West Virginia's and Ohio. I mean, there's a standard. We can't mandate the end of public schools, but certainly, do you think reconciliation could support that kind of a requirement on education spending?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what we've got to do is we've got to say, what can we do? And don't be shy. I mean, let's do everything we can do. There are so many things we have to do. We have to have a military that can scare the crap out of our enemies. We've got to balance our budget. We can balance the budget. Guess what? I balanced the budget when I was governor. Florida had not balanced its budget in 20 years before I became governor. I balanced the budget when I was in business. How do you do it? You say, so what my revenues are going to be, I'm not spending more than that. It's not that hard. But you have to create a process for everything you want to get done. So we know we have to get a budget done. We know we have to do reconciliation. Let's go to when do we have to have these things done? Let's move backwards. Who's going to be responsible? What's our timeline? What's our measurement? And then do it. We've got to get the Trump agenda accomplished. We got to get his judges in. We've got to get his nominees done. We got to. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for somebody that wants to bust their butt every day to get this done.
Now, Senator Cornyn put out, and you retweeted, and I'm sure Senator Thune agrees, around the clock, 24/7, 365 to get Donald Trump as nominees because we cannot have a replay of 2017. Can you explain that to people?
Yeah, but here's our schedule. I was shocked when it came up here. But here's the schedule since I've been up here for 6 years. Okay, we have a vote at 5:30. We don't know what we're voting on, by the way, until generally Monday morning. We don't know what we're voting on, but 5:30, we're going to have a vote at night, and then we leave here at 1:45 on Thursday. Now, the Senate is a process. It takes so many days to do each thing we do. So the only way we're going to get this done is if we commit to be here. That means I think for the first whatever time it takes, if it's the first 100 days, if it's the first 200 days, we should be here every day. We should be here every day and get everything done. If the Democrats want to slow everything down, which that's what they've done, that's what they did with Trump the first time. If they want to slow it down, then they're going to have to be here every day to do it. Because my belief is let's stay here until we get his nominees done, until we get reconciliation done. Let's get all this done now. We know this country has to be saved. Donald Trump, he ran on a campaign to do these things. We got to have a leader and a Republican Party up here that does it.
Now, Senator, I want to get deep in the weeds with a potential majority leader. The blue slip process is the blue slip process. It's never going to change. But I do believe California hadn't had a good district court judge nominated during a Republican presidency for as long as I can remember. I do believe in nominating a bunch of people and appointing them for 1 year, and then they can retire. You can find retired partners. You can find retired judges to put up there, nominate, go into recess, and recess appoint them for a year. Is that legit in your view?
Well, what Donald Trump has asked is would people support a recess appointments for non-judicial? I actually believe that we can get judicial nominees done. Because here's the deal: the blue slip process works as long as people are respectful of it. If you just say, "Oh, I'm not even going to talk to you,"
that's the California senators. They wouldn't even talk to the leader and the Republicans when Donald Trump.
Then what you have to say is the blue slip process doesn't work, because what this is the only way it works is if when there's a Democrat president, Republicans work to try to find a good judge. When the Democrats there are a Republican president, Democrats have to work. If they don't, the blue slip process doesn't work. You can't have a process that just is used to completely stop the appointment of judges. The president has the right to appoint judges.
Well said, or to nominate them and they get a vote. Let me conclude by this, and Senator Thune spoke to this. No matter who wins, do you think the 53 will come together?
I hope so. But we've got, when I say come together, though, we've got to come together on the Trump agenda. We've got to come together on getting nominees done. This idea that we're going to work, 2.5 days a week is crazy. This idea that we're going to be, we're not going to bust our butts every day for the Trump agenda. It depends. It all comes down to, and I think hopefully whoever wins will understand we have got to have big change. I'm running, and as you know, I ran 2 years ago because this has got to change. I'm tired.
Now, I got to get a quick question in. If Marco Rubio becomes Secretary of State, that would be a great appointment. Who becomes the next senator? Who would you recommend to Ron DeSantis?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of good people that we've got.
Mike Waltz is going to the White House, so he can't be on the list.
Yeah, I know Mike Waltz would be great. There's great Vern Buchanan, Byron Donald, Jack Kamich. We got so many. Corey Mills.
Florida is like the ground zero of the Republican talent pool, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got great Mario Diaz-Balart, Carlos Jimenez, Maria Salazar. We have got so much talent. It's unbelievable.
Senator Rick Scott, great to talk to you. I appreciate your taking time. Again, I just want to say congratulations. You're right. I think they've spent $300 million against you, and it bounces off. Pebbles against a battleship. Thank you, Senator Scott.
All right. Bye-bye.